Now we're going to send a fax with an attachment. As you might imagine, the way you get started is the same as sending it without. And so we're going to create a new fax and shrink the little window. And we're going to send another one to Marge Simpson. More details on our heavy dozer request. Okay, and again, we're going to manually enter this, Marge Simpson. We'll get to the address book in a little bit. And we'll say Simpson heavy equipment. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, we want to have a fax fail so we can see how that works. So I'm going to enter an invalid fax number for this, and we'll set up the same fail address, or rather the same notify address. We'll add it to the address book. Now, also, something we didn't discuss in the last video is what's this X for. As you might imagine, it's to remove this recipient from the list. So if we added Bob Smith at Smith Heavy Equipment, and then added it, and then we realized, wait, we really don't want Bob on this. We can just remove him from it. So now we've got the recipients. Let's look at documents. Immediately you'll see on the right that the default cover page is already set up as a document on this message. The default cover page can be changed so that when you compose a message it has your own cover page on it, cover page for your department, whatever is appropriate, and we'll get into that later on when we look at customizing your settings. And then here is the shared documents library, which we'll get into later on. Right now I want to show you just how to attach a document. Click on Attach Documents to launch a web browser. I'm sorry, not a web browser, but launch a page to attach the documents from. Now that we have this page up, we can just hit Browse and find a very important document to attach. And you can attach Word and Excel, Adobe Acrobat PDF files. There's a pretty wide variety of files you can attach. The server will then convert it and turn it into a faxable file. Now the natural inclination here is to click Add because we put the file up here that we want. So if we hit Add, we're going to find out that all it does is allow you to add a second or third or fifth document to it, which is very handy if you want multiple documents in there. In our case, we don't. So after you hit Add, which you will, just click on Remove to get rid of that extra file. What you really want to do is click on Attach Document. This will then bring the document into your message. These arrows here allow you to reorder the sequence that the documents are rendered and sent in your message. So for example, if you had 3 or 4 documents that you had attached, you can use the up and down arrows to change how they're received. So if we wanted the cover page to go at the end of the fax, we could click down arrow, and then the very important document will come in first, and then the cover page. I don't think we really want to do that, so we're going to leave it the normal way. Now we're going to send this fax, and remember, when I entered the fax number, I put in an invalid one. So now we're in the phase where it's doing the rendering and then the sending. I'm going to pause the video, and we're going to come back as soon as it's failed so we can see what that looks like in the folder. Now that the fax has been sent, we can see that it's disappeared from the outbox. If we go into the sent folder, we'll see the second fax sent here, and we can see that it failed with a line failure. What a line failure means is that it couldn't get an answer from the other end. In this case, I tried to send the fax to my own fax number, so it just got a busy signal. Also, since this fax failed, it will show up in the failed fax folder. Okay, so there's some duplication there, but it's not actually a duplicate message, it's just a repeat of the same message. In our next video, we are going to look at sending a fax using the various options available to you, and then after that we'll get into the fax viewer so you can see what looking at faxes is like.